Up and pay attention mainly to you ladies, but we will be streaming other ways. Okay, everyone, welcome to our nervous system reset lunch and learn today. This I just told some people that are in the Zoom room listening, this is one of my favorite conversations to have because it has been so impactful when I understood the role the nervous system plays in our health and different things that I've worked through for the last couple of years in my health. And so I'm really excited to bring a little bit of an introduction to this topic. This is a really broad topic that we could talk about for hours and we could explore. But today I really want to just give you the basics of what the nervous system is doing in your body so that I can in hopes bring awareness to you of how this might be affecting different areas of your life. Maybe it's your physical health, maybe it's your emotional health, it could be relationships that you have with other people, it could be how you're showing up in the job that you're here to do, maybe in your work. So lots of different ways the nervous system can be playing a role in our lives, not just our physical health, but in every single aspect of our life. And so again, today is a very basic introduction, but if this is something that really intrigued you or interests you, I really invite you to kind of come back and really start to explore this topic. I'm always here for you to ask questions to. You can schedule a call with me. We can dive in when it comes to your specific health goals. We can play the nervous system plays a big role in those that we can definitely start to kind of bring in and incorporate into your wellness goals that you have. And so welcome everyone to the call. And I'm really excited to have you all here. Wherever you're joining from, you were meant to be here. And I love having you here. So I know I'm streaming in multiple locations. I love that about technology. I can get everybody this information and get it out and maybe find some new people that are ready to explore this topic. But it's just a really, really fun topic. So wherever you're at, make sure you're putting your comments into, if you have comments, if you have questions, if you're like, hey, have some aha moments, there's something that you feel like you want to share. We are a great big family here, and you can just put that into the comments and I will get back to you even if it's not live, or maybe you're just watching this as a recording later on. I know we all have busy lives and it's all going to be different for every single person. So let's dive in to our nervous system. Okay. So the first thing I just want to kind of go over and review is the last couple of months or the last couple of weeks, I've been doing an October Lunch and Learn series. And if you want access to that, and you do not have access to the entire series, reach out and I'll make sure you get the link for all of all of the workshops that I've been doing this week or this month. But we've really been focused in on these core principles of what we call the wellness pyramid. I've been working with doTERRA essential oils in the company for over 12 years now. And I love this wellness pyramid. Whether you are part of doTERRA, not part of doTERRA, wherever you're landing, the wellness pyramid is something that we can all use. And this is showing that our nutrition and our digestion is at the bottom. We've got movement, metabolism, rest and stress management, reducing toxicity, informed self-care, and proactive medical care. And this is really this hierarchy of what our bodies need to thrive. I'm not talking about just, shriveling up and just getting by, but this is what we need for our bodies to thrive. And so this is what we've been talking about. And so today we're going to really dive into the principle of the concept of our nervous system and what role our nervous system is playing in this. And really the nervous system, all of these areas of the wellness pyramid feed into our nervous system and how it is showing up in our lives. So let's first dive in and just a really quick understanding of the nervous system. We could totally geek out on science here. Okay. And I have team members that could probably talk about the science and the ins and outs of the nervous system for 2 hours. We are going to keep it super, super basic right here and right now for this call. But we really just need to understand that the nervous system is our body's communications channel. Okay. It is responsible from taking everything that's all of these outside inputs, and it is communicating it with all of our body systems. Okay. So the nervous system is your body's communication channel. The nerves send and receive messages that allow you to think, to feel, to process sensory information. So that's outside stimuli, to control your movements of your body. The nervous system is also responsible for your emotions, Learning to manage negative emotions can help balance the nervous system. Essential oils can help support, generate a positive mood, and support a healthy nervous system. So the nervous system is really the body's communication channel. Now it's broken down into different areas and different processes like the parasympathetic, the sympathetic nervous system. But for today's conversation, I just want you to understand it's the communication channel. And it is what's responsible for what we call regulating our body systems. Okay. And so here are some signs of a dysregulated nervous system. Okay, there's lots of things that feed into our nervous system. It's not just our outside sensory input, right? Everything is feeding into it. So here's some signs of a dysregulated nervous system, right? Because this nervous system, your body's communication channel, how outside input is controlling how our body responds, right? So outside input, different things that have come up in your life, all of it is feeding into your nervous system, okay? And so if our nervous system is not regulated, it's not feeding into it, we are, and I'm going to explain that in just a little bit, you might feel constantly on edge and overwhelmed. You're frequently snappy, irritable, and reactive to situations. You experience chronic pain and illness. You're highly sensitive to sensory stimuli. So that would be like outside stimuli, like, being in a loud room, the television being on, those kinds of things. Sleep problems, chronic attention and concentration problems, appetite changes, immune and hormonal symptoms, skin and gut conditions. And as you know, if you've been following along, because some of you have been here for every single presentation I've given this month, we know that this is also, some of these issues also come from hormonal imbalance, maybe metabolic conditions that we have going on. We're not sleeping, and we've been exploring solutions within all of these. But here's the thing, if we don't look at the nervous system as a piece of the healing component, if we don't look at the nervous system and we just kind of ignore the function of the nervous system, and we're trying to focus in on our sleep or focus in on our metabolic health or focus in on whatever else is going on, we're missing a piece of the picture, because our bodies are designed, they're so beautiful. Like, our bodies were designed to have so many moving pieces, and all of the pieces dance together. So we can't look at hormones without looking at metabolism. We can't look at metabolism without looking at sleep. We can't look at sleep without looking at nervous system. We can't look at, and when we really break it down, we have to look at the foods we're eating, the relationships that we're having, the water we're intaking, the smart supplementation we're doing. We can't just look at one piece of the puzzle. We have to look at everything as a whole and understand there's lots of moving pieces, there's lots of moving components. And the nervous system, I think, is one that is dismissed a lot, because we understand stress, but we don't understand that the nervous system is a little bit more than stress, right? It's the communication system. And so if you're watching this, I want you to drop into the comments how many of these you experience on a regular basis. Are you at, let me see, how many are there? There's 9 of them here. Are you at a 9? Are you at a 6? Are you at an 8? Are you at a 2? Where are you landing today that you are like, maybe I need to look at my nervous system, or maybe I don't need to look at my nervous system as more of, I need to understand and bring a little bit more awareness into my wellness plan on how my nervous system might be dysregulated, and maybe I need to focus more on some nervous system stuff to help my hormones, to support some sleep problems, to the chronic irritability or whatever it is. How can I look at my nervous system? Okay, so here's an easy way I explain the nervous system. Like I said, we're not going to dive into full science and all of that kind of stuff. But I want you, if you're on this call, chances are you know how to drive a car, okay? And I want you to imagine that your car is driving down the road, okay? And when you're driving your car down the road, even if you're going down a straight road, right? Your straight road, you're still making some adjustments to the steering wheel, right? So you're going down a straight road, you're still making adjustments to the steering wheel. Now, if you come across a big corner, you've got to go around that corner. It's a bigger adjustment to the steering wheel. Maybe you come upon some traffic and you have to slow down. Okay. The nervous system is if we look at this as an analogy, the nervous system is the wheel of the car. The nervous system is the driver of the car, and it is you driving the car. That is what your nervous system is doing for your body. Your nervous system is adjusting based on your outside things that you're bringing in. Maybe it's your food, your water, your sleep, your emotions, whatever it is, your stressors in your life. Your nervous system is constantly adjusting. It's sending communication signals to your organs. It's sending communication systems to your brain. It's sending communication systems all throughout your body to regulate, right? So it might be that we have to adjust because maybe you ate some McDonald's today and you didn't drink enough water. Okay. So our nervous system is going to adjust, send signals to the body where it needs to go. Maybe there's an outside stressor, right? Maybe you've got a job that is a little bit stressful and overwhelming. Your body's going to adjust to that. Maybe it's that outside stimuli that's coming in, your body's going to adjust. And so it's really like the hand on the wheel. We're trying to keep the car on the road. But what happens is if you're starting to experience some of these dysregulated nervous systems, is that our car can't stay on the road anymore. Our car is veering off, it's crashing, it's like slowing down too much for the corner, it's not slowing down enough to go around to the curve. There's a lot of different things that are happening in our nervous system that our car can't stay on the road. It can't keep our body in what we call a state of homeostasis. And when our body is in a state of homeostasis, the car is on the road, we're driving down, we're cruising along just nicely, we can stay in our lane, we're totally fine. And our body, when we're in that homeostasis, our body is in the optimal space of healing. Okay? Because remember, nothing cures, prevents, or treats disease. But what our body does when we give our body the right input, the right tools, the right things, right? The right resources, our body can heal itself. And so what happens is all of this stuff is happening because we're not staying in the lane. Our body isn't creating that optimal space of healing. And so this optimal space of healing, yes, part of it is going to come from the foods we eat, the water we drink, but there's a whole lot more to it. Okay, now I'm going to show you this image. And so how did we get here, right? Like what are these input things that are coming in? Now we understand the nervous system. We're trying to keep it kind of intact. We're trying to keep it in balance. Okay, trying to keep it in this state of homeostasis so that we can feel emotions, but it's not going to derail us. We can have things come up. It's not going to completely derail us. So what has happened, right? So we could look at what's currently been going on. I mean, this world, you just open up the news and it's kind of a, whatever you want to say. And we're becoming more and more divided. And we've got all this, we're not as connected as we used to be. We're not out in nature as much. We've got information coming at us 24/7. I mean, I think back to my grandmothers. And yes, they might have had some worry. They might have had some different things going on in their lives. But in general, their nervous systems were very, very regulated because one, they ate all real food. They stayed out in nature all the time. They were farm wives and they were out in their gardens and doing all the things all the time. And they did not have 24/7 access to news. So they lived through things like the Great Depression. They lived through things like World War I and well, one of them, not World War I, but they lived through the Great Depression and World War II and the Vietnam War and so many different presidents, the civil rights movement, all of these different experiences that they lived. But the reality was they didn't have 24/7 access to that news. They were focused in on raising families, focused in on their not necessarily surviving, but taking part of life. They got together in community to share the news with each other. They weren't access to all of this stuff. And so what happened is, there's been an evolution. And so it wasn't that, they didn't go through the same kinds of things that we're going through right now in our current society, but they didn't know about them. They weren't always in the know about everything and constant bombardment. We've got, webinars. And sometimes I'm just like, come over to my house, but then I can't get to everybody, right? They weren't like, hey, come to this webinar. They didn't get 20 emails a day saying, come and try this. Their time was, they got to choose what to do with their time. And the reality is you do too. We also have a world's population that in the 1800s, 3% lived in cities. 3% lived in cities. So the rest of the people were out living on the land. So if they didn't live in the cities, they probably weren't eating processed foods, all of that kind of stuff. In 2016, 54% lived in cities, and it's projected that 66% are going to live in cities by 2050. So we've also moved away where we're in these concrete jungles and we're not in nature. So this is playing a big impact, right? And 93% of us spend our time indoors. So there's multiple factors to what's going on with our nervous system. Introduced processed and fake foods. We're not living in cities. We're living in cities. We're not living out in the country. We're spending all of our time indoors. We have access, constant bombardment. We don't slow down and take time to just breathe. And don't worry, you've got to stay on because I am going to walk you through the most magnificent breathing activity that you've probably ever experienced in just a moment. But we have all these factors coming in that are sending these signals, these communication. It's kind of like multiple events, right? It's not just one thing. And that's what I want you to understand, not just with our nervous system today, but with our health in general. It's not just one thing. It's a series of different things that are adding on top of each other, one after one after one after another. Okay. Now, the other piece that we need to understand about the nervous system, this piece is really like, it's okay. So past experiences and trauma and what we feel safe in or protected in also affect our nervous system and are a big, big chunk of our nervous system. So I always love this analogy because it's the one that makes sense the most to me, especially when we just talked about driving the car down the road. Now I want you to imagine, because your nervous system kind of has a thermometer, right? Your nervous system in this regulation and what your body, basically our nervous system is to help us feel safe and help us feel that it is okay for our body to heal. It is okay for us to exhale. Okay. So what happens is our thermostat for our nervous system is actually programmed when we're much younger. Okay. What we feel safe in our environment is programmed when we are in our formative years. Basically everything up to that age of 25. And so if we felt safe in that environment, awesome, great. But if we didn't feel safe in that environment, or if we had, and it's not even feeling safe, it's the programming of what was normal and what was not normal at that moment of time. So a lot of times that it's not even us driving the car right now. It is a younger version of us driving the car. So, and we're in the passenger seat and we're watching them drive. Now I want you to imagine if this little girl was driving the car down the road at 80 miles an hour. She was driving the car down the road at 80 miles an hour. And you were in the passenger seat holding on for dear life. Okay? So that our past experiences are also feeding into our nervous system. Okay. And this is a component that I wanted to talk about today. And you might be saying, hey, Katie, this is really far out there. I'm not sure if I agree with you on this. I'm telling you, this is where it's coming from. This is where the real magic happens. It's understanding that sometimes this is happening, right? What happens, our patterns from the past are what is dictating how we drive today. And so this is why, let's just bring it in. Like, I want to give you a really concrete example. This might be where it's like, you're really, really focused in, like you want to eat healthy. You want to process your emotions. You don't want to react in situations. But you have programming from when you were younger. Maybe you grew up in a household that ate all processed foods and didn't eat anything natural, or you ate out a lot, or you didn't take care of your body and it was at Christmas and Thanksgiving, you just ate until you wanted to puke, or you didn't know how to process emotions. The only way you know how to process an emotion is to scream at another human because that's what you were shown in your environment. So you're up here and you're 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 years old, and you're like, I want to make these healthy lifestyle changes. But that little driver in the car seat is still saying, no, this is how we drive. Okay. So I want you to know that we need to have awareness of this. I think my biggest point for this is that we have to have awareness of this, because if we don't, it's easy to fall back into the story of beating ourselves up because we're like, hey, I'm back here where I just was. I just talked to somebody last week and they're like, I just want to break these patterns. And I said, you have been breaking these patterns. You're not the same person you were 2 or 3 years ago. We're shifting into this new thing. And this can be really real for so many of us, especially when it comes to making healthy choices. But one of the things I want to mention today, and I wasn't going to even say this, but I think it's really important, is that we continue to take steps forward. We continue to understand that sometimes genetics, sometimes our nervous system, sometimes our environment, they're playing a bigger role in our health. But when we make these changes, we're creating the change for all of the generations that come before us. So they don't have to worry about these changes, right? It's just going to come second nature to them. I look at my kids. My son was homesick yesterday. He wasn't feeling well, and he's 16. And he woke up and he had not felt well during the night, and he had taken his On Guard Plus. He had taken Tries. He had put oils on himself. And then yesterday morning when he woke up, he asked me for very, very specific oils that he needed. This morning, he asked me for the steam pot. He wanted to use the steam pot for his nasal congestion. And so because he's been exposed to this natural way of healing, he knew what he needed, right? But if he had been raised in a home that went right to the doctor or always went to Tylenol or whatever it was, those would have been his go-to options. So hopefully that helps bring it in. I know I just spent a lot of time on this, but I really want you to understand what is all feeding into the nervous system. So there's all these outside factors, right? We have instant access to technology. We're not outside as much. We're not grounding as much. We are in a fast-paced world, so we're not taking time to, one of the things about nervous system, I found this really amazing website. It's going to be included in all of your resources for this call, but it's this nervous system. I can't remember the name of the website. It's healyournervoussystem.com, and they just have some amazing resources on there. And there's all these different components that are feeding into your nervous system, like we've talked about, and it's just fascinating to me. Okay, so that's where we're going to end it. We're going to leave it, because how your faith also plays a part in your nervous system, your belief system. So not necessarily saying that you have to be a certain religion or not, but it's just saying your faith and who you are grounded in, that knowing of everything's going to be okay. So lots of just super, super cool stuff. Now, let's get into how essential oils can help. So the way essential oils are, we're looking at this nervous system, is our body's communication channel. The nerves send and receive messages that allow you to think, feel, process sensory information, and control movement. Your nervous systems are also responsible for your emotions. So our essential oils, because they go into our cells and they go into the cells of our brain, they can shift and change our neural pathways. Yes, they can help calm, generate positive mood, and support a healthy nervous system. They also help with homeostasis, circulation, brain function, and even help neurons be more efficient when transmitting and receiving messages. So no matter where your programming has been or where you're at or all of these different things that are coming in, saying, hey, this is my awareness. This is what I have going on. We can use essential oils to help. So here's some of my favorite essential oils to use for nervous system regulation. Copaiba. This is going to be one of my number one. This is why copaiba has this ability to go into our CB1 receptors, which is a component of our brain where it goes through and it can fire the signals out very, very effectively. And copaiba is a very, very, very calming essential oil. And whatever you add copaiba to, it enhances. So frankincense drives in the other oils we use. Copaiba enhances it. So one of my favorite combos is going to be the copaiba with the adaptive. The oils in the adaptive blend are meant for helping calm down our entire body, right? And so sometimes we don't have to feel anxious and overwhelmed to calm down the body. It could be that our body just needs to be calmed because it has all of this outside input coming in, okay? And so adaptive and copaiba, adaptive is calming, copaiba is also calming, but it's also going to enhance the adaptive. Also oils like peace, frankincense, balance, shinrin-yoku. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite one right now to use for nervous system regulation. As soon as this one came out, I was like, oh my goodness, this one is going to be so good for our nervous system because I've really been focusing on the nervous system with so many people and with myself. And we have to heal and regulate. We have to take that thermostat that our nervous system was programmed at, and we have to elevate it. And these oils are going to help our body say, hey, oh my gosh, I'm bringing you into a state of calm. It's safe for me to heal. It's safe for me to take a breath. It's safe for me to turn off the news. It's safe for me to shift these family patterns that I have. Essential oils can help. Copaiba, adaptive peace, frankincense, balance, shinrin-yoku. If you also look down on the thing, vetiver, rose, basil, Roman chamomile, wild orange, bergamot, they're those uplifting citrusy oils. So many beautiful oils. Pick the ones that work for you. And in just a minute, I'm going to show you how to use it. So diffusing these oils, so how would we use them? We could diffuse them around us, especially when it's time for sleep. There's been some amazing studies coming out in the Shinrin-yoku on sleep and what it's doing for just cortisol levels, because that's another way you can know if your nervous system is in overdrive. Maybe your cortisol levels are going to be a little bit higher. Some of your body's immune responses, things like that. The Shinrin-yoku diffused at night while you sleep. Allow yourself to reset. Or maybe it's the adaptive. Maybe it's the balance that you put on after bed. I love taking nice warm baths. If you're like, hey, I'm really dysregulated in my nervous system and you want to really slow, maybe you're not getting results with your weight loss or your metabolic health or whatever it is, bringing our nervous system back into a space of calm and giving up our worries and what we're worrying about out. Okay, it's not ours. Most of us are focused in on what we cannot control, and this is something that you can. So focus in on this. Okay, this is my absolute favorite combo. I remember when adaptive first came out, and I was like, I don't need adaptive, because they were talking about it, how it was really good for people that always felt overwhelmed and like were having a lot of anxious feelings or, down feelings. And I was like, that's not me. I don't need adaptive. And then I was on a call with Dr. Hill, who was one of the formulators of adaptive. And he said, really, adaptive is helping us bring our body into this state of homeostasis, okay, which is taking our parasympathetic, our sympathetic nervous system and regulating them, right? Nervous system regulation, which is what today's call is all about. And then he said, you could pair it with this copaiba, and this combo is the ultimate combo to bring your body back into that state of peace. And so what I started doing is I started taking one of each of these in the afternoon, because I realized I wasn't having anxious feelings. I wasn't feeling overwhelmed, but I'm a mom. I've got 3 boys in busy activities. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a large organization that I run. I've got a lot of people that I serve, and my brain was always going in a million directions. I always had these to-do lists, and that on your body can cause stress. And so what I started to do is I started to take a combo of these when I was getting ready to disconnect for the day. When I wanted to walk from my office into the kitchen, which is over there, and I wanted to just calm my brain and stop all the racing thoughts, I started to use it with that. Now I also take one of each in the morning to kind of calm my thoughts so that during the day I can focus in on what I need to focus in and not all of the other things that might be crowding my brain space. And that right there is helping bring my body back into, it's also helping with my cells and with my organs and everything else like that. And so this has been really, really impactful. I've been using a combination of this with the MetaPower and the Lifelong Vitality. I was always on Lifelong Vitality. I was always on this. I added the MetaPower in and I got a lot more consistent with my adaptive, and my cholesterol dropped 26 points in 6 months. That's a pretty significant amount. And I think a lot of it was my cortisol was higher than I realized, and I needed to bring that down. So adding that adaptive in with that metabolic support with the collagen was really, really helpful. So this chill pill, I think you're really going to like it. And so don't, like everything that we talk about, don't wait until you feel overwhelmed to start doing these. These are practices I want you to implement out the day. Don't wait until you feel overwhelmed or you feel scattered or you feel worried or whatever it is you feel. Don't wait to use your oils then. Use them, come up with a routine for using them in the morning, come up with a routine for using them in the evening or throughout the day. Not reactive, but proactive. Let me see. And as always, we're going to look at the foundations because nutrition plays a role. Our nutrition does play a role in our nervous system, right? We're putting in all the pieces of the puzzle. And so I wouldn't be giving you all the pieces of the puzzle if I didn't say, hey, you got to have a solid foundation. So this is always, always, always my number one solid foundation is going to be this every single day, filling in the missing puzzle pieces of my nutrients, right? Because a lot of times we have, because I'm not a purist, I know that there's going to be days that my kids and I are going to go and have some fast food. It's not very often. We might eat out. We might do some different things. So I'm not like, we need to have smart supplementation. This doesn't mean you don't have to eat healthy. It just means that you're adding in so that you're getting everything your body needs, those foundational building blocks. And the second thing is our MetaPower. This is going to be that collagen that's helping with our brain function and our liposomal vitamin C, the biotin that's in there that's helping them with the utilization of the fats and the carbs. It's giving our body the tools, right? These are foundational tools. And so really, we go back to the wellness pyramid with our nervous system. We go back to the nervous system and we focus in on our nutrition and digestion. Our movement is going to help get things moving. Our rest and our stress management, reducing toxicity, informed self-care. All of these pieces are going to come together to focus in on the nervous system. Every single thing. Because one of the things I did not mention was for the nervous system was our outside toxicity. That's going to be our chemicals and things like that. Processed foods, sodas, cleaning supplies, all of those kinds of things. That's also playing a factor in our nervous system. So now what we're going to do is I want to walk you through. So here's, one of my favorite activities. I've got 2 more things. So these are just different things we can do. I want, if you guys have, if anybody on the call has an oil, you can grab it now. I'm going to use this with the Shinrin-yoku. I'm going to teach you this really, really simple way to really reset your nervous system when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling or just start to do this every single day. And you can do it in the morning as part of your morning routine with your coffee. You could do it in the evening. I suggest if you're really focused in on nervous system that you do this once or twice a day. Okay. Now you can pick any oil you want, any oil that speaks to you. Like I said, I'm really, really loving in this moment the Shinrin-yoku for the calming of the nervous system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 things with the oil. Now, if you had the touch oil, you could do this with the touch. It might be a little bit easier. I don't have that with me today. But what I want you to do is I want you right here, kind of underneath the like right down where your lungs would stop and above the lower back. I want you to take a little bit of this oil and I want you to rub it on that area. Okay. Now you could do that with the Shinrin-yoku. You could do that with copaiba. Those would be my favorite 2 for that. Maybe some frankincense. Ooh, I can feel it already. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put just a drop of that in the palm of your hand. And now You are simply going to find 3 minutes for yourself where you can breathe. But when you breathe in and out with this oil, with this inhalation, with it going up into your brain, shifting your neural pathways, all of the things, I want you to breathe into that space in your lower back where you applied the oil. Okay. So as you breathe, you're just going to breathe in. I can't do that and like talk at the same time. You're going to breathe in and out and breathe into that lower back space. And as you do that, I want you can repeat some mantras to yourself. You can repeat, my nervous system is safe. I am safe. I allow my body to heal. And whatever else comes to your mind, and just repeat those. You're shifting the patterns. It is safe for me to change the patterns that are holding me back. It is safe for me and my body to heal. It is safe for me to regulate my nervous system. I am safe. I am safe to speak my truth. I am safe to release all that I cannot control. You get to choose. And if you don't want to say the mantras, don't say the mantras. Pray, whatever works for you and your belief system. But take that time to really focus in on resetting. You could play some tranquil music. You could, just do it in silence. I recommend not doing it when the kids are around. If you've got little kids, so good. Just breathe in and out and allow your body to heal. Allow your body to breathe into the spaces. So good. All right, here's a couple of more tips that I have. So we went through some of the oils, we went through some of the products, we did our little breathing technique. A couple of other things, disconnect from technology. I talked a lot about this on our sleep class a couple of weeks ago. Disconnecting from technology throughout the day as much as you can, giving yourself limits, those kinds of things. Don't watch the news. Right? Don't watch the news if possible. I always tell my husband, like, hey, if there's something I really need to know, tell me. You know, here's a big one on social media. Put your boundaries up. If there's people that are posting things that you don't want and they're irritating you and they're bringing stress into your life, block them, unfriend them, whatever you need to do. Don't feel bad about it. Ground yourself in nature. Get yourself outside as much as possible. Use oils frequently and throughout the day. Bring awareness to what your triggers are. What is triggering you? Maybe that's something that you need to explore. You need to work more through. Focus on nutrition. Seek additional support if needed, right? If you're like, hey, I know that I've gotten a lot of stuff from my past that I need to focus through, seek additional support, right? There's nothing wrong with seeking that additional support. You are here to thrive, and any tool you need to use to thrive, use it, okay? All right. So get started. A couple of things. If you're already a doTERRA member, go use the oils you have in your house. Maybe you've got some oils that are collecting dust. Maybe you haven't used Peace in a while. Maybe whatever it is. I want you to go use what you have. If you don't have the Shinrin Yoku, now it's available. Also in the month of October, maybe you want to get started this month. This month is a great month to get started. Or if you are a member and you need to order, it's a great month. This month, you could order like that lifelong vitality pack. We can customize a kit. This is just an image I have. I want to work with you individually to figure out what you need and what is the best path forward for you. But one of the cool things is that adaptive oil that I talked about, that one is absolutely free this month when you get the qualifying order. So the adaptive citrus bliss, frankincense, adaptive bath oil, and a diffuser, these are all great tools for your nervous system. That's going to be for brand new members. For current members, we've also got some other specials. So you have to text me 515-531-2277 or private message me in any way if you're, connecting on social and seeing this somewhere, and we will get you set up and focused in on not just your nervous system. What I love to do is put some different pieces of the puzzle together and make it really simple for you. So I recently started working with a gal. She's like, I just want to feel it like myself. I'm a mom, I'm busy, I've got 4 kids and we're all over the place. And so we started her on some lifelong vitality, some meta power, and she's using adaptive every day. And she's already like 2 weeks later, she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much better I feel. I can't even describe it. It's just this overall better. So we're going to come up with a plan that works for you, your lifestyle, your budget, all of the things. And that's one of the coolest parts of it. So that is what I've got to say on our nervous system. Remember, your nervous system is in charge of a lot. There's lots of different components to your nervous system, but the awesome part is now you have awareness. If you were watching all the way to the end, you now have awareness of what those are, and they are, you have awareness, and with that awareness we can always do more. So when you know better, you do better. Okay, and so that's what I've got for you today. Reach out if you have any questions. I'm always here, no matter what channel. I know we had this streaming on multiple locations. I don't even know where they're all at anymore, but we've got it all in a lot of different places, and so make sure you are reaching out. We are here. I love more than anything to help women come into a space of thriving in their lives, erasing the old stories that are keeping you small, and showing you how you can be vibrant in your health, your business, your life, or whatever it is you desire to be vibrant in. So thanks everyone. I look forward to getting messages from you and cannot wait to hear about you reaching out. Talk to you later. Bye.